I need this up. Okay. We should be live.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
looks good.
You know what we should do this time is get desktop audio working, which it's not.
Yeah, if we can.
I'm trying to think of what I can do here. I don't know why the desktop audio is not working already, which is the problem. I could just try...
Yeah, lure them in with the cats.
Remove.
It's so needy.
Oh my god, I love that we can hear the purring.
It's all fun and games until like 3 days in.
Oh god, what is going on? Display 2. Okay. How do I get, like, audio? Maybe, like, desktop. Nope. Nope, that's not it. I've just gotta get back to working again at all. Okay, so...
Huh.
Why?
This is interesting. So, you know how the previous streams on Steam had like 10 people?
Yeah.
Apparently, this one is going out to several hundred.
Oh, shit. Hi. We should have had our tech difficulties figured out before that then, huh?
Sure should have.
Well, I want to get you audio. I'm gonna figure this out. I think this would be coming out of... Alright, hold on to your butts. Let's see if this works. How would I even see? Audio output capture. I need to test this with some sort of music.
Pressing buttons in the UI should make sounds.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's working.
We'll just get Corey's cat to make all the sound effects for the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it might be working. Though that looks suspicious. There's sound. There's sound, but are you guys hearing, yeah, okay. So there's sound, but they're also hearing Skype.
Oh, great, great.
So they're gonna hear an echo. Let me think of another way to do this.
If we can't,
There's another way to do this.
Okay.
Okay. 3 minutes. I swear to God, I can fix this. I read about this on the internet. I saw a doc for this.
Gwen. I saw a doc about this on the internet. It's not a reassuring thing that you have to fix this.
Okay, you might run into this problem with OBS. Go to the advanced audio properties.
Ooh.
Edit. Click on edit in OBS Studio. Advanced audio properties. Okay, I'm there. We're almost there, guys. Take a look in the tracks column. Okay. No idea if this is gonna work.
So in the meantime, Alan.
Yeah.
You are lead designer on this project.
For my sins.
Yeah. Does that work?
No. For my sins is one of those replies that you can use even if it doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, it's funny.
Right.
But in this case, it does.
So how long has the game been in development? I know the answer. I'm pretending not to know.
We have hit over three years now. I think we started talking about this game literally like days after shipping Cosmic Express, and that was March 2017. And at the time, I think we were thinking, it would just be like a couple of months. Like obviously not actually a couple of months, but like a couple of months to get the basics, and then a few more months to polish it, and then it'd be a nice, simple thing. And it was the opposite of that. But the ways in which it was the opposite of that also mean that it's become a really, really good game. So I guess it was worth it.
Yeah, even when it didn't have this level of polish, I was immediately like, oh, okay, this is going to be by far your best game, and you're like, oh yeah.
This is beautiful. Can the people in the chat let me know real quick? Do you guys hear echo anymore, or is the echo gone?
Hey.
Good people in the chat. I think it should be gone. No echo? Okay, and you can still hear me and everybody. Well, you can hear me because you replied. Excellent. All right. Oh, and you got that thing where, see, that was always a good snowman where you just like randomly sit. You're into randomly sitting, Alan. That's a bit
what can I say? I like cute animations that aren't a lot of work to implement, but make the game seem more polished than it is.
I like how you have the grass moving around. Wow, this has come a long way.
Yeah, so most of the art was done by Adam DeGrandis, who's a cool art director based in Maine. Yeah, like the art style took a long while to nail down, but we finally got there. You might want to move our faces like slightly to the right so they're not covering the text.
Sure. Give me 1 second. Ooh. I think I'm actually gonna... Because it looks like...
Yeah, so you were resisting for a while bringing back the monster.
Actually, no. So yeah, so we've had the monster as the character as a player for the last maybe 6 months. And before that, I was always advocating for the monster, but like there wasn't a lot of cohesion within the team about like what we should do. Like we went down a lot of dead ends with narrative for this game, and there were a lot of ideas that we had that people felt like the monster didn't really fit with. And it wasn't until just kind of going back to the drawing board and working out what the hell this place was, what you were doing here, that we hit on the idea that you're this monster and it's a museum for human things. And what was the inspiration for the design with the logs and the islands? The answer to that is, so we had, I made a game ages ago called Mirror Isles, and then another game called Skipping Stones to Lonely Homes. And they are both games set on islands where the islands are just like a nice excuse to have walkable areas split apart by non-walkable areas. And we were basically talking about, oh, let's make another game. What should it be? Well, that mechanic was nice. Let's just make something on some islands. And I was chatting to Ben, who's like the other designer on this game, and also the lead programmer, and also the artist and programmer on Snowman, and the programmer on Cosmic Express. And I think he mentioned the idea of like trees. Trees are on islands. What could you do with trees? And then that made me think, like, oh, well, a log is basically a cylinder, and a cylinder is a shape that you can roll along one axis and push end on another. And like, I think I'd thought of the core mechanic a while back and never implemented it, but just like, oh, well, what if you had barrels, which are also a cylinder? What would they do? And then Ben mentioning logs made me go, oh, well, I guess we could try that. There's probably like 10 puzzles in there. We could make that. And turns out there's a lot more than 10 puzzles.
What the fuck?
So obviously the way you get around, the way that monsters get around the world is through magical post boxes.
I see that now, yeah. That makes sense. Did you ever, so at one point, last time I played was a very long time ago, and you could, how was it? There was no like overworld map. You didn't know if an island was hard or easy. There was many different ways to get through the world. I knew there was, it was kind of open world in a way. How did you change the overall structure? Like, I know at one point a long time ago we were talking about indicating to the player what is, which islands would be difficult, or encouraging them to take different paths, or helping them understanding that they're taking a path. Because there's so many islands where you can leave in 2 different ways, right? That still seems
yeah, that is still true. It's been one of these things where it's alternated in priority between like, oh, well, this would be nice, but I don't know how we do it, versus well, hopefully it's not needed and the level design will just gently guide people through the world, versus, oh god, this is definitely needed and this game will be terrible if we don't have this. And right now we're in, well, it's not there and hopefully it's fine.
Okay.
There feels like there's less branching than there used to be. Is that my head? Or is it not? I don't know, maybe in the early levels even?
In the early levels, there's not much branching. There still is... like, Corey, have you played the full game recently?
No.
I don't think so. Yeah, so... I'd say the demo is slightly underrepresentative of how much branching there is. If you choose to be completionist, then you will unlock quite a lot of branches simultaneously eventually.
I know that's been something that I've brought up a bunch of times, saying that I've like was getting completionist anxiety. Just being like, okay, I've gone a couple of islands down this path. Should I continue down this path? Should I backtrack to see what that other one was? Like, obviously trusting that the game is like, well, I let you go either of these ways, so either is fine, and you shouldn't really second guess yourself. But I constantly was second guessing myself anyways. So, I don't know how much that would be a universal experience, or whether
Yeah, no, I think
we'll just
I
be
think
able
the
to go
game.
with the flow.
Mhm. I think the game got a lot better at the point that we made each of the areas like half the size, which means that even if you're being completionist within a smaller area. So I think that change helped. It means that now, even if you are being completionist, the scope of the number of puzzles you need to think about at one time is smaller.
And the backtracking is less.
Yeah,
if
although, I mean, backtracking, like, the backtracking for the intended puzzles is always minimal. The backtracking for some of the things I've seen people doing in the demo is significant, and the demo is like quite locked down. I thought you could access less of the world than you actually can, but turns out people are good at breaking things.
That's such a beautiful moment. I fucking loved that. I knew that was gonna come at some point. You moved that a lot sooner.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's much better at that point.
That's good. Yeah, it needed to be sooner. I like it.
Yeah, like a year ago, that was like after an hour and a half of gameplay at least, or something.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why I
later,
didn't
probably.
expect it again. It
Yeah.
got me again. It's beautiful. I want to go back.
And even when it was an hour and a half in, you were planning on making it the title card moment, which would have been that much funnier to make someone play for a feature-length film's amount of time, and then give you the title card.
Films play at the end of the game, so why not? Gwen,
that-
even if you go
that
back, the
moment.
title card won't play a second time.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? I just know there was like a handful. I just did a core. I was like, there was 3 puzzles I could have done up there. I forgot to. But there's no going back. I dig it. It's like life. Can never go back again.
I didn't use it in the demo, but the fast travel allows for you to go back, right?
Oh.
Yeah, you just
So,
need to
yeah.
get to the next mailbox. Which is actually another thing that was like debated for a while within the team. Like for a long while, I was thinking that the game should have fast travel points, but they shouldn't become active until like you beat the game, and then once you get to the end, they all become active and you can mop up the puzzles you missed. And my thinking was, well, basically, like anytime you've made progress in the game, you've got to the next area, the puzzles in that area will be easier than the optional puzzles you skipped over in the previous areas. And it felt like, well, the moment I let you backtrack, you're just going to go backtracking and you're going to look at all the optional puzzles you've missed, and like you'll get stuck on one of them and burn out and you'll never come back to the game. And I guess I just stopped worrying about that and like admitted, okay, well, sometimes people will stop playing and not come back. But yeah,
I like the undo sound, Alan.
it's
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Right.
the minimalist music. This is just such a chill game. I dig it.
Yeah, question: after launching a demo, is there a challenge to get back on full production mode and ramp the productivity back up?
I mean, so the demo, I don't think so in this case. Like a lot of the demo work was just like small tweaks that needed to happen to the full game anyway. And so it was just like a slight change of priorities. So for a lot of people, it wasn't like, oh, we're in demo mode, got a crunch for the demo, and then like, oh, this is done, because like this is literally just the start of the game. So it's not like this is a custom build that is completely different content. So a lot of the work was just like, oh well, we got to get the coffee cup in, we gotta make it so that when you raft off into nothingness, the game actually notices that, rather than just following the player and leaving you stuck in the ocean forever. So as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't that much of a big deal.
It's not like making an E3 demo where you have to do all this scripted stuff that you're gonna throw away for the finished game.
Yeah.
Isn't.
Like there is some extra stuff that's specific to the demo. Like I cut some islands because the presence of an island in some places was too much of a clue that there would be a puzzle there in the final game.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had to think about, oh, where do we want the end of the title of the end of the demo to go? And like tweaking the specific wording of this page. Like I know Patrick suggested that we should clarify just how little of the game is in the demo. So I added a sentence there for that.
Did you guys announce a price point for this?
No, but there's only like 40 people in chat, plus however many 100 on Steam. It's probably gonna be $20. Sounds right. Let me know if you would pay $50 for this game.
Oh, I can just continue. Oh, good. So I can go back.
Yeah, you can go back and mop up the optional puzzles. And when you do the optional puzzles, then you can look for the secrets. And when you do the secrets, you can look for the unintentional secrets that other people found that I didn't know was possible.
Okay.
Yeah, the Witness got away with $40. I don't know. Like, the Witness felt like only the Witness could get away with the Witness's price point.
I think.
Well, also the fact of it being a first person, exactly.
Yeah, it's a first person game, and it's also beautiful. And like this game is beautiful, but it's beautiful in a different way.
Yeah, I mean it's so the music is so like sweet and relaxing, and this is a good game to chill to. You know what I mean?
Can we have a first person mode in this game? Absolutely not. So much would break.
But just imagine, $40.
It's more, the amount of work that have to be done would be more than he would get for making a game for $40. Also, as soon as you raise your price point to that, you exclude a lot of the market, at least for quite a while. These days. Like, it's very difficult to get people to spend $40 in a game.
Yeah.
There's like, there's a hole in the market between the $20 price point and like the AAA price point. And I think the Witness could get away with being AAA, but even like if that was today, I think they'd have a lot harder time actually at the $40 price point.
Really?
It's hard to say, right? I mean, what games do you know that are successful at that price point? It's not Yeah, there's just not much there. That's usually the $40 is the price point of a bad AAA game, not like a good indie game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see.
Like if you're, it's the price point of like a game that's, I don't know. It would be a risk to launch it at. Yeah. It was probably a risk back then too. It's a risky price point. It's like the AA games, like by Monolith, for instance. You know, the games that are like low budget AAA games. Whereas high budget AAA games high budget indie games are like $25, $30.
Yeah, like I was delighted to see things like Celeste, launch at 25 and things like that. That you're like, oh, and whatever 10 years ago, this would have been a $10 game. Like, just like it feels like there's slightly bolder or more confident pricing now. But then I guess maybe it's gone the other way again.
I don't know. I mean, we've all got our own perspectives, right? Like, it's hard to say.
Yeah, and you know best. Is my perspective.
That is definitively untrue.
Yeah, Gwen does not know shit.
Someone in the Steam chat says $20 seems good. I pay more depending on how large it is. Oh, it's large. Oh,
How
can
many
hear
hours
myself.
do you think to beat the game?
So initially, I was thinking like 5 to 10 hours. So like the main game, if you're not mopping up the optional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how many people are going to be like just mainlining the core game. So like, yeah, at least 5 hours. But also anyone who can possibly beat the main game in 5 hours is going to go back to the optional stuff. So realistically, it's probably like 10 to 40 to more hours. I don't know.
Yeah, it's impossible to say since some people breeze through puzzles more than others, and
Yeah.
exactly. I don't know how you measure a puzzle game in hours exactly.
You measure a puzzle game by a year after launch. What does how long to beat say?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. SSR was $30, but that's also like that was a huge topic of discussion, exhaustingly.
Yeah, like
So,
you don't really want your game's price point to be what people are talking about. You want people to be talking about the quality of the game instead.
and hopefully they're not saying it's a steal either, because then you're like, shit, I should have priced it higher.
I don't have
It's
like.
just
Have
not
you ever been
discussed at
going
all.
through the Steam like comments and had people be like, "Wow, this game is really worth more than they're charging"? I don't think I've ever seen that, like not once in any Steam comments. Maybe you're running into different Steam users than me.
Yeah, I mean there is like all those games which are like $1 on Steam. I could imagine somebody looking at those and going, "Hey, why is this not $5?" But
And just so that it sells 1 million copies at $1, it's like,
right.
hey,
I mean that's what currently works on the Switch store, right? Is you have a $10 game and you make it like 99% off, and because the Switch store is based on units, not revenue, you'll launch up to the top of the sales charts, and then your game goes back to $10, but the listing doesn't catch up, so you're at the top with like a $10 price point. It's like, why Nintendo hasn't fixed that yet, I don't know.
No comment. I plead fifth. That's cute. You're really getting there with the cute little moments. All right.
Yeah, love that tree.
Yeah, that's adorable.
yeah, launch at $200 with a 90% off sale constantly. Sure. Yeah, people like getting games at a discount.
On
So
Steam, you're not gonna. So Valve doesn't let you have your game permanently on discount. You have to have a certain amount of time. Wait, what? What am I doing here? Why did I do this?
What are you doing?
I don't know. Like, I felt like I wanted to go over there and get that tree, but I don't know why. I wanted to get it because it was there, but it doesn't really make much
just
sense.
listen to the level design. The level design knows more, like, than your brain does.
Because, like, going this way should be... But, like, why? I feel like I should go over here. There's no way to get this tree other than... Can I cut down the tree with the owl? No.
No, didn't you read the sign?
I don't read, I'm American.
You can't This is the one tree you specifically can't.
That's great. How much? I mean, I'm sure after working on it so long, the system is so internalized that you probably don't have to struggle that much with these things. But how much have you had to struggle with, like, avoiding? Okay, I have to make sure it's not possible to raft off of this level and things like that.
A lot.
Yeah.
Like that is going to be one of the big things I still need to do before launch is like just get a whole boatload of testers on board and have them try to break the game. Like already from just the demo, I have like 4 things which are like, okay, well that needs tweaking. Because like there's so many places you can break the game, and then also every time you break the game, it cascades, and you can break the game even more. And it's a lot.
So have you? The festival's almost over. What do you think of this as a festival? Like, what do you think about, just in general, the idea of online festivals going forward for the next, I don't know, until the coronavirus dies down? Like, was this stressful? How does this compare to showing your game at EGX or wherever else you've shown games?
I mean, this was stressful mostly because the first day, the build wasn't working.
Yeah, it's like a normal festival. Yeah.
But yeah, like I was going to say, that would have been equally stressful if it had happened on the show floor. So, so the difference there is I would have known going in to a real life thing that it wasn't working on my computer, and I would have had a backup build that I could have just switched to. Whereas here, it was working on my computer and not anyone else's, and that's a unique thing for an online festival. I think the platform benefits 20 times more than the devs from the chat. I totally agree. Like I have strong feelings about Steam and their 30% cut and how they don't deserve a 30% cut for most games. But also, good luck convincing Valve to do anything else other than swallow money. In terms of this festival specifically, it felt like it could have been a bit nicer if it was slightly more curated, but like that's Valve in a nutshell, really.
I mean, you always run into the issue. If you curate, then is it curation or gatekeeping? Like at what point is it just somebody at Valve and that's why you're in the festival, and in a way, isn't that how it is at every festival? And it gets into a whole conversation.
I'm especially like, if you're gatekeeping for quality or something, then that's kind of, or like, it can be kind of like, well, who are you to say that this game, like, you don't know, this game might be the most meaningful game in the world to someone else. I'm more like when there's like a huge chunk of Steam games that are like achievement hunter, and it's like has 10,000 achievements, or like things that are clearly just like gaming the platform, and it's just like makes everything junky. And there's a lot of that I wish they would at least be like, okay, this is not really a game, and at least have that level of curation. If not, okay, well, this is not polished enough, or whatever other kind of.
Yeah, like I definitely, like, in the grand scheme of things, I would rather have a Steam where anyone can be on Steam than a Steam where you have to know someone at Valve to get your game on Steam. Like, it's definitely better like that, but it just feels like they could do so much more, but because of their attitude, they're like, oh no, we couldn't possibly do, like, if we if we do any kind of human creation, then I don't even know why they don't, but like they go super into like, oh, what algorithmic creation. An algorithmic creation is very good at finding the stuff that's already popular. Is the issue. And like it feels like with a mixture, they could do a better job of surfacing the really, really cool content that's on their platform, but nobody really knows about.
I go back and forth on this. You're always there's more than one storefront. Epic Games Store exists. They curate. There's curation kind of involved in getting on the console, just because they have to. They can't sort every game that wants to be in the console, and people hate it. And everybody defines basically the games that shouldn't be on the storefront are the ones that are, not mine. And my game definitely should be on the storefront. When in reality, if you look at the world, like 90% of gamers just want to play FIFA and Madden and Call of Duty and only want like 10 games. So if there was curation, who knows if an Alan Hazelden game would get there? It just does become messy. Like, I totally hear your argument. There's definitely asset flips. There's definitely like shitty games on Steam. I don't know what the right solution is.
I got a 3-paragraph refusal email from GOG for Pipe Push Paradise, and I was like delighted that I'm like, oh, at least they care. Like,
oh wow, yeah, 3 paragraphs is actually a lot more detailed than I would have expected.
And it wasn't just like tearing the game down. It was kind of a shit sandwich of like saying nice things about the game and then being like, I think it's too niche for our blah blah or whatever it was. But it was like that they took the time and that they whatever. I appreciated that. So it's. But then again, I also want my game to be available. So it's easy to feel both ways.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need GOG though.
Yeah, that's where the real money is.
Can I get
between
GOG
selling
is
copies
just
of Cyberpunk.
A poor man's itch, really.
Is it?
No, it's not even trying to be a poor man's itch. How methodical is my level design from the Steam chat? Pretty methodical. Like I have a mixture of like I have this specific idea and I want to force a level that involves this specific interaction, and sometimes I do it that way, and sometimes it's just like, oh, I'm gonna draw an island, I'm gonna put some stuff on it, I'm gonna play around until I hit something that's interesting, and then I'm trying to do that interesting thing. But a lot of the time, I don't know if something is possible until I've done it, and a lot of the time I'll be like trying for like half an hour at a time to go, oh well, like if I could do this, but now that's broken, and if I fix that, then the other thing is broken, and then at the end of the process you're like, I think I was just trying to do something impossible, something contradictory. Oh well, time lost. Hopefully I hit on something else interesting along the way. Yeah, that's a lot of puzzle design process.
A huge part surely is staying organized with when you have as many puzzles as you do in this game to keep a global picture.
So many puzzles.
Yeah.
We have so many puzzles.
So do you want to talk about the what is it? At the end of talking about Kine, we were discussing that it's a pain in the ass to stitch together puzzles into an overworld. And I said, yeah, there's really no reason to do that. Like, there was no design reason, so who gives a shit? I don't think I'll ever do that again. You apparently went, well, there has to be a design reason.
Yeah.
This is an entire game of overworld stuff.
So in some ways, this game is just like a tiny step on from a good snowman, because a good snowman had like this interconnected overworld where like you solve a puzzle, a door opens up, you go to the next puzzle, and they all fit nicely into each other. But like that wasn't a lot of work. Like it was some work, and then the secret stuff in that game made it more work. But we cut corners by making the secret stuff a totally different arrangement, so that it didn't have to fit together with the main flow. And in some ways, this is just that. But it turns out in a good snowman, everything has a hedge around the edge, which means you can't break out, you can't do anything weird. We also made it so you couldn't push the snowballs onto the dirt patches between rooms. And it's all nice and simple. This game does not have any fucking walls, and
you can build rafts to go around. I think, yeah. Yeah, dude.
And it's so easy to break things. It's so easy. Like I said before, there are places in the demo that, like on the title screen journey, you pass this lighthouse. And that's just like this cute moment of like, oh, you're going past it, and like that. I didn't think you could get to that in the demo. Turns out you can.
Really?
Like not in any way that not in any way that human minds can comprehend. Like
so
when you're smart, but you're probably not going to get to the lighthouse in the demo build. The lighthouse is accessible only to people who really love breaking games, and they are very good at it.
It's a bug, okay.
It's not a bug. Like, it falls out of the mechanics, and there are puzzles in the game like that kind of stuff, but hopefully more compact and elegant. I mean, you're not even looking in the right part of the world to work out
shit.
to the lighthouse.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how to get there from here. Well, that's the fucking struggle, right? Okay. Wow.
But yeah, so there is one secret in this build that's actually pretty reasonable to get to, and that is near the coffee hut. And then there's another puzzle which is less reasonable, but is really nice and like really elegant. And then there's just other ways that people broke the game that I didn't realize you could break the game, and now it's mostly fixed now, I think.
Can you take apart a raft? You can't, right? Once a raft is built, it's built.
You can reset the level.
And that's where you get into the localized time travel.
Right, yeah. Because you can reset levels on a island by island basis.
Yes, if I reset this level, do I keep the raft?
Yeah, because that raft is from the other island.
Oh, weird. Can I like put a log on a raft?
Not here, but yes. Skymoon, yeah, the windmill is not accessible. Even the people who love breaking games, fortunately, haven't managed to get to the windmill. So, like, yes, each log remembers where it's from, which causes its own issues. Like, the logic of what should happen if you got a log from one island on another island and then reset the island is... I still haven't found a good solution to that.
Alan, this is beautiful.
Thank you.
This is awesome. This is coming out. When is this coming out again?
I cannot say that.
You cannot say. All right. This year, maybe?
If it's not this year, then we done fucked up.
All right. There it is. Heard it here. Put it on Kotaku. Everybody knows now. This is coming out this year.
Well, I mean, if it's not this year, then we fucked up is very different to it's coming out this year.
I guess that's true. It's technically not announced. You read your contract. You're sure you're safe on that one. Just joking.
July 2020 confirms. Sure. Feel free to believe that.
No, you can't do that. Then they're going to go online and they're going to clip it so that all they have is you just saying sure, and then they'll cut it. And then that'll go on Kotaku.
Yeah, and then the outrage will just give more publicity. is perfect.
That's how these things
There,
go.
there is a snow zone. I think there's a snow zone in the trailer.
Yeah.
Snow zone looks great. It all looks great.
All right. Let me see. I haven't been able to see this. Like, are people talking in the? Can people talk in the chat?
Yeah.
On Steam. Oh, word.
Oh yeah, I made it so you need to click
I haven't
through
even
to a
looking.
different page to view this chat on Steam. There's only one person in that chat, so.
Oh. Okay. Well, then I'll keep the game up. Oops. Shit. Okay.
What made me add a story to the game? Hubris, self-loathing, bad production pipelines.
It adds a lot.
It does. I mean, so that is the real answer. I added a story because I knew that it would add a lot. And even this story is like way simpler than some of the stuff we were talking about before. But that stuff just didn't ever fit the game, whereas these exhibits do fit in a way. But it took so much hassle to get to the point where we realized what would work. And we hit the right vibe of like cutesy, like museums misunderstanding humanity. Yeah, I mean, so like my legitimate advice to anyone making any video game and thinking about adding a story is don't. Like it's not worth it. Like this game would have probably come out like a year and a half ago if we hadn't just tried to add any kind of story. And like it's better now, and I don't regret that time. But like also, I've been working on this game for too long.
It doesn't. It's nice that it doesn't get in the way of the puzzles at all, and you can decide to engage with it whatever amount that you want.
Yeah,
I think that's a very nice choice.
Important. In general, I like games where you have something that's not just. I think it's less important for this game. I think for this game you could have gotten away with no story because you can kind of get in a flow state and it's not super difficult. But I do like in some games, like strategy games or tactics games or whatever, you have that moment where like you do the hard thing, the thing that the game is, like the gameplay, and then you step back and if it's an RPG, you equip your characters, you go talk to people in the city, I like that there's two states to a lot of these games. The same way, like in Darkest Dungeon, you go do a dungeon and then you're back in Hamlet, and you spend some time doing something like that. I think it's good to have a breather in between intense moments of problem solving. And I think for the narrative is a potential way to add that. Like I think that's really necessary in very difficult games. I don't know if it's necessary in this game or if it's. I think the story adds a lot to this game just because it's higher production values. It's another verb for the player to do. It's like pleasant. In general, this game's very charming. But it's probably not necessary. I agree with you. I think you could have shipped it without if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, like it's the eternal balance of, do I want this game to be shipped or do I want it to be the best game it could possibly be? Mm-hmm. And like aiming for the best the game could possibly be is a lot of hassle.
Well, and also it comes at a cost of like not being able to make as many games in your life.
Right. Yeah.
So there's some balance there.
You've been working on this like what, 2 years?
This is over 3 years now.
3 years. All right, that's a chunk of time. I don't know. How many? I would rather.
Look,
I would
you
rather
come
make
from a
one
AAA
good
background.
I'm sorry. What?
You come from a AAA background, where
exactly.
Very, very different. Like I made my last game in 9 months, start to finish. So
yeah.
And that was abnormally quick, and I will never have another game go as smoothly as that. And Karma just compensated with this game, but like a year is a really nice length of time to spend on a project. It's like really, it's like even if it's not like a magnum opus.
2 years. 2 years is like the perfect time to spend on a project. I think
Is
2 years is
that,
like.
is that what Kine was? Was that 2?
Well, kind's difficult to explain because I started that while I was working part time as a solo developer, and after I was funded, I had a 1 year dev cycle. So in reality, it was like 2.5 years, with the first 6 months or the first year being I was working on it part time. So yeah, I guess it was like about 2 years. But I mean, even when I'm on productions, like we made the Flame in the Flood in 2 years. Um, I just there's a balance there between you. I would rather make a game that's. I would rather make one game that's worth making than 3 games that aren't. I guess. Not
Sure.
Way to take a shot at me.
not worth making. No, not worth making to me would be defined as something that is pushes me in a way that's. I'm a 3D artist. I need time to work in like 3D, right? Like I want to work with other artists. So okay, the ending of a project just fucking sucks. Like it's just not fun. You're grinding it out. It's awful. Uh, the beginning of a project is actually really stressful. It takes a while to figure out what you're making, and you want to spend some time in that really happy place where you're just like grinding on it, iterating on it, making it as good as possible. And you want to be able to do that, in my case, with like some amount of art and animation, because otherwise, like, why are we even doing this? And that's what I mean. Like, it has to be enough time to make a game worth making. It has to be enough time that I'm like making something where I remember why making games is fun, versus like I don't enjoy making puzzles that much. Like I enjoy coming up with the mechanics and making like 2, but then when you reach that point where it's like, oh, now make like I don't know 20 more that explore that mechanic in a lot of interesting ways. That's like a grind. Like I don't enjoy doing that, and if I'm gonna do that, I'm doing it because I know I get to grind on the things I enjoy grinding on later. Do you understand?
Yeah. Yeah, there's also the like that polish. Just, I mean, like how a game looks is the first thing anyone sees. It's your only impression at first. So making something polished like will just inevitably get more people interested, more people to play it, and that's obviously nice. Yeah, it's yeah, obviously just like you were saying about finding the right amount to invest. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, no, I get it. I was not a dig at you. I'm sorry.
No, I don't mean anything I say.
It's more. I was trying to be a dig at Alan. He's
Yeah.
I'm undiggable.
Alan. You have a question from the chat. Do you want to talk about how it's been to work with a bigger team?
I don't even know. Like good. Like working with good people who make the project good is good. Or managing a team and doing things other than making puzzles is less good. Like working with Jamie is fine because I just sometimes I talk to them and sometimes I'm burnt out and I don't talk to them and they just get on with other stuff. But like it's not something that's really hanging over my head. Whereas a lot of other team members is just like, well, I need to spend like 4 hours of my day just thinking about this other person's workloads and like looking at what they've done and then writing up to-do lists for what they've done that needs to be tweaked. And I don't know, like I want the game to be good, so I do the work. And like I'm not bad about. I'm okay at that work, but it's not the stuff that I really enjoy about making a game. What I really enjoy about making the game is the design and the levels.
You've promoted yourself to the point where you're not doing the thing you enjoyed doing anymore. You're managing people.
Exactly.
Yeah. How many people are you
Ain't
managing?
right. Depends how you count.
Well, how many people Okay, on a given week, how many people are talking to you? How many people do you think you would have to talk to in a given week?
Probably like 10.
10. And is there any hierarchy there, or do they all talk to you?
Mostly they're talking to me. So Adam, the art director, has a team of 2 other people doing doing exhibit work. So I never talked to anyone on the art team other than Adam.
Good.
And then like a lot of the programmers talk to each other about stuff that the programmers need to talk to. But we have like 5 programmers. Because we've got
programmers.
We've got so the lead programmer, his workload just like was not well balanced. So we got somebody else on to do some miscellaneous like just gameplay programming stuff. And then we brought on somebody else to do some porting work. And then that person was busy, so they brought on somebody else with them. It was like, okay, we'll just tag team this. And then we brought somebody else on to do UI programming. And actually, the team of 2 programmers working on porting actually brought somebody else on to work on like some optimization code. So actually, that makes 6 programmers. And yeah, it's just like there's like they mostly have their own speciality. Like some of them are working on just optimizing stuff, and I don't really need to talk to the optimization team other than like a 10-minute check-in every week saying, hey, okay, this is what you're optimizing next. But
that's
yeah,
a massive
like,
team. I can see why you're stressed out.
And like a lot of them are part-time. Like it's not 6 full programmers.
But it is 6. I mean, there's a combinatorics there where it's useful to have specialists part-time because they know their specialty and they can do it faster. But it's also another person that you have to get access to your source control, that you have to like touch base with and pay payroll. And so there's a certain amount of overhead no matter what, even if they're part-time. So the fact that they're specialists in their field has to be more valuable than the fact that to overcome that overhead, right? Like there's a sort of math there. And that's just like Kine had 0 programmers on the game. Like I did all the programming in Blueprint, and then I had 1 person to port, and that was for the Stadia, Xbox, PS4, and the Switch. So I'm just looking at this like, Jesus, you have a lot of programmers that you have to like pay payroll and stuff. But I mean, it just works out like that. Sometimes you've got like you said, the person you hired to do the port. There's just always circumstances outside of your control in some way or other. I like getting louder and going to get quieter and quieter. I'll move closer to the mic. Sorry about that.
I think I'm just getting louder as I'm venting about managing.
It's late in the stream. We're getting yeah. That's just a lot of people that are pinging you.
Yep. But also, the work needs to get done.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, well, it's beautiful, though. I think you're going to ship this, and you're going to be like, I'm never working a game that big again. I'm going to keep it small. And then you're just going to do the same.
But I won't.
They'll get bigger. Every game gets bigger. It always does, and it's beautiful, and you won't regret it. Because, like,
I mean,
right
all
now,
I need to do is not make another game with localized time travel, and I've already made my job twice as easy.
Dude, there's always going to be something in the next game that's going to be hard to.
I mean, so, no joke. Like, I might make the next game just Cosmic Express 2, because it's small and self-contained, and I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what the mechanics are?
Vaguely.
Yeah,
It'd be a Halloween themed version, so they'd be monsters instead of aliens.
You're gonna add a twist to it. Well, it has to be somehow mechanically different, which you're gonna have to come up with a way to do that.
No,
which you will.
no, it's gonna be the same but different stuff.
Really, you're just gonna do a content swap? Alan Hazelden is just gonna do a content swap?
Whatever, it's fine.
Weren't you pitching that he should do the Frozen version of Good Snowman?
Right.
Yeah. I maintain that you should still do that. Just literally.
I should spend years of my life dealing with Disney.
No, I think you should pay somebody else to license.
No, I'm too much of a control freak. That would not save me time. Like, I would get sucked into it.
Yeah.
I would not be able to delegate licensing a remake of one of my games.
You will break at some point, and
Yeah, I'm gonna break before releasing this game.
All right, you're in the end though, Alan. This is the part that sucks, where you swear you'll never do it again. In 2021, you're gonna have that moment where you wake up and it's the fourth day in a row where nobody's emailed you and pinged you, and you haven't been like you're used to managing a team, and you're just gonna be and nobody's talking to you on Twitter, and the rush is over, and you're gonna be like, man, wasn't it great back when I was working on a monsters
absolutely.
expedition? And you're gonna miss this.
I'm gonna get so bored.
And you're gonna hunt for this feeling again. It's inevitable.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Anyway. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Cosmic Express 2. We'll see how that goes. This is the end of the stream, actually. We hit 5:30, so it's been 3 hours, plus a bonus half hour in the beginning of problem-solving tech stuff. I don't know, are we still even on the Steam front page?
I don't know. We've still got 600 people watching on Steam, so hi everyone, I guess.
Is that real?
I don't know where you came. It was over 1,000 at one point.
That's crazy.
I think yeah, it must have been like whitelisted for, hey, if this game streams, they can go on the front page or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you did set up the event and everything, right?
Yeah, but so did you.
Yeah, but nobody can. Like, I released my game on Epic first. Like, Valve probably doesn't have their foot on the pedal to make that one be on the front page. It is weird having a demo on Steam while the game's, like, on sale in the Epic Games Store. That's weird.
Yeah, I saw Superliminal there too, but for sure to so many people, like, so many people aren't even keeping track of like, oh, this game is already out on EGS. They're just not watching EGS at all, so your game's just new.
I mean, like, what just came out? Outer Wilds just came out on Steam, and like already has how many reviews? 600. It's like, probably didn't exist until it was on Steam, and now it exists, so you can play it now.
No comment.
So, are you sure you don't want to?
No
comment. A little comment there, Jack.
No, not a word. Hi, nice people on Steam. You should take this moment. The people that are here, we've been doing this for 3 hours. It's 90 degrees in here. So if you could do us all a favor and wishlist the 3 games, it does help us. Like with the magical Steam algorithms, all you have to do is click wishlist on this game.
That in theory that's true, but also if you click wishlist and then you don't buy it, then you're lowering the ratio of wish lists that converted, which is a bad thing. So if you wishlist it, you also have to buy it. Not true.
We're asking a lot here. Yeah. You jumped the shark. You went too far. You gilded the lily. Just ask the nice people, whoever you are, the 900 strangers watching this on Steam, to please wishlist these 3 games.
Please wishlist. Also wishlist Patrick's Parabox, because that's a cool game that if you like these 3 games, you will also like.
It makes us feel good. And play the demos if you joined late and have not played the demos. Oh, we should pimp our Twitter too.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me. Here's what we'll do.
What are we doing? You putting our handles up on the screen?
Yup. At
Perfect.
Draknek.
Oh, that's tiny.
I can't fix that. Corey, what's your handle?
At my toboggan, MYTOBOGGAN. It's a relic of an old of the before times. Unfortunately, all Corey Martin related things were taken in 2008.
Yeah, no. Man, finding a name.
Loving this zooming in action.
It's terrible.
Look, we're real high tech here, okay?
What is this Twitter handle for ants?
Please follow us on Twitter. Please wish us the games. There, that we did our thing that made this a business thing.
Yeah, Gwen, you can change the font size in Notepad. I'm pretty sure.
Well, like, are you happy yet, Alan?
Never.
Definitely not.
All right, go back.
Zoom in until I'm the only one shown.
Yes. Thanks to everyone for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks, Gwen, for organizing. Thanks, Gwen and Corey, for joining me. Or thanks me and Corey for joining Gwen, I guess.
Yeah, it's customary to thank yourself.
No, I don't deserve thanks.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna just look at Alan. Okay, can we do an interview like this? So, Alan, I just want to pick your brain a little bit. When did you know that I actually don't have a question? Yeah, thanks. I guess that's all we got.
That's it.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I'm gonna
Thanks
stop
all.
this now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.